on this computer. Recording. Hey guys, it is Brendan Borman back for another 270 video. Today we are welcoming in two legends of the game into the stream. To my left, which is this way according to the camera, we have Supun Linaj. Did I say that right? Leonaj. See?
Yes.
I'm so confused.
That's all right. That's okay.
See, the official pronunciation right there. One more time.
Supun Leonaj.
Supun Linaj.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there we go. And then below me, we have Tahsin, S. Lake. The S stands for stud, right?
It could stand for many things. It's actually, so that's actually the name I use on Facebook, but my real name is Tahsin al-Haq,
Okay.
which a lot of people may not be aware. It's just like when I started out online, I used to, like on games and stuff, I used to use that name, so just stuck with it.
That works. And Tahsin is one of the most popular names where you're from, right?
It's pretty popular. It's pretty popular.
So, I mean, maybe that, like, maybe it makes you, like, stand out or something. I'm not sure. Awesome. Well, I appreciate both of you guys hopping on because, as you know, we are on all different time zones. It is 6 a.m. here. What time is it, Supun?
It's 11:10 p.m.
PM. Tahsin, what time is it?
8:10 p.m.
Okay, so you guys are fairly close, but, you know, it's definitely challenging to coordinate when you've got a group of us, whether it's playing a 270 match or just even hopping on a Zoom call. So really appreciate it. I want to give each of you guys just kind of a brief opportunity to talk about how you started playing the game, how long you've been playing, and who your go-to candidate is. Start with Tahsin this time. Oh, did you get muted?
Okay, so
go ahead. It's a delay. It's okay.
Yeah. So with go-to candidates, when I started the game, before I bought any paid candidates, I used to use Jeb Bush. I think he's probably the most well-rounded of the free candidates. He's got the Old South and Swing State bonus, which is a combination I have always liked. Since then, I bought Trump 2020 as my first paid candidate. I picked up Ben Carson later on, who I used to use quite a bit in the middle. Nowadays, if you've been following the RHL both seasons, I've gone with this. I'm very happy with the combination he gives me. He can go swing states, African American, town and gown. So both New York and Florida are viable.
Yeah, East Coast is where you will find Tahsin. Yeah, that's for sure. How long have you been playing?
I think I started in 2017, but the bulk of my hours in the game are from this year, ever since like all the tournaments and everything started. I don't really play public lobby so much anymore. I tend to look for experienced players.
Yeah. Hello, where are my experienced players? I would like a match today. That was not very good. Yeah, no, that I could always look forward to those posts. So that's pretty cool. Just curious, you mentioned the public lobby. Where are you today-ish? Are you in the top 50, top 100? Any idea?
I'm quite a bit below that, actually. I think must be like 300 or something.
Gotcha. It's just lack of not playing games, like
yeah.
So awesome. Well, we'll turn it over to Supun. Same kind of questions. Who are your go-to candidates and how long have you been playing?
So these days, I like starting in the South. So someone's got a good Old South bonus. So Trump 2020, Ron DeSantis, Ben Carson, Jeb Bush, and John McCain. So someone's got a good Old South bonus. I find that the best way to get to the African American bonus. So those are my go-to candidates. I started playing in 2018. I found out about the game on Twitter. A bunch of people were posting games on it, and I'm like, I want to play this game, and I've been playing ever since. So, and I play about 1 hour every day.
You want to drop your Twitter handle?
I'm happy to. It's Supun47.
There you go. Same thing.
Same as your. What does the 47 stand for?
That was my first ever email address, supun47@hotmail.com. It was given to me, so I've got 47. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, my first ever email was supergoggles1991@hotmail.com. So that was the and I don't know. I gotta find a picture. I don't think I have anything with me. I'll definitely post something later. But I used to have glasses. I had LASIK eye surgery, and before that, I wore these big goggles so I could play sports. And I always played basketball, football, baseball, all these sports. And so instead of like trading off, I'm like, I don't want contacts. I just went to school. I took showers all day, every day. I just had these big goggles. So I was this goofy looking kid.
Oh, I'd love to see a picture of that.
Yeah, I was this goofy looking kid. And I had like hair, like curly hair before I started going bald. And I'd make a 3-pointer, and the crowd would go, oh. But no, I went to a small school. I was pretty good, but no. So that first email, I can stick with you. So Supun47, Super Goggles. Do you have a first email, Tahsin? Not so exciting.
tanslake@yahoo.com. So I still use that, actually.
That's funny.
That's like my first proper email. Like when I was younger than that, I probably had something, but I don't actually remember.
Yeah.
But so that's the one that I use for all the casual stuff, games and this kind of thing. But like for my professional or academic stuff, I have a separate one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the emails of casual being professional, that's super important. I work at a college, so we transition people to be professional. But speaking of professional and segueing into it, you guys just had this professional, it felt like, match, the Rio Honda League White House. You guys seem to match up quite a bit, whether it's in this tournament, whether it's in another tournament. And I just recently made a rivals video, and I got to your guys' pictures, because what I do is, I set all the pictures up and I hit record, and I try to just do one take. That way, it's authentic. It's not me having a script and whatever. And I got to you guys. I'm like, man, what do I say? I can say so many things, and if I don't stretch it out, it's gonna be kind of awkward, because I made every picture 30 seconds. I'm like, man, what am I gonna say for 30 seconds? So I definitely enjoy watching you guys play. It's really tough, because whether it's like a 270 match that's being streamed, or where you guys are from, you've got soccer, cricket, you've got different sports, football that are popular. I watch baseball here in the United States, or I watch football, and it doesn't matter if I have a favorite team. I usually root for somebody, and it gives me a rooting interest. Hey, I like this player, or I like this. It's tough, because when you guys play, I can't root for both of you. So what I did was, the after game 1, when Tahsin won game 1, I was rooting for Supun in game 2, because I wanted to have a game 3. But I'll turn it over to Tahsin to talk about. So game 1, to go through kind of what happened in a brief summary, and then kind of like your thought process.
So I'm thinking back exactly what happened. So I think game 1, same as game 2. I started Old South. I went with I think slightly different than the usual combination. So the classic Old South is Maryland, Louisiana, North Carolina, and Virginia. So I think I must have gone for Maryland plus Georgia, some sort of combination like that, which is something that Jason started in the lobby initially. It helps because the person who goes for swing states often challenges for Virginia and North Carolina. and that can lose you some progress towards AA. So if you go for the ones that don't have any swing bonus attached, they are a little bit safer from being stolen. Supun, I did let him get the swing state bonus pretty early that game. I think we both we didn't really challenge each other's bonuses too much.
That was nice of you.
He got swing states, I got town and gown, and I managed to get AA pretty quickly. And the thing that made me nervous was Supun went for Texas quite early. So at that point, I was only in one of the big states. Was it game 2 or game 1 where he did the big California steal?
Game 2.
Game two.
Oh,
Yeah,
game 2.
We're gonna talk about that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So Supun, on game number 1, was that a strategy to beat him to Texas, or was that just kind of playing the board like, what has happened? He has Old South that swing, town and gown, just kind of, I need to get to Texas.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking too much about Texas. It was just Old South. I wasn't sure if Tahsin would go for it. So I spent, I think, just in Virginia. I spent 1 pip in Virginia just to be a pain in the ass. And then I had to decide, go for the South turn 2 or go for swing states. I decided to go for swing states. I don't think that Tahsin would normally start with the South. I think he targeted the South because of me. Is that true?
No, I used to start swing states all the time. Nowadays, South is actually my preferred strategy.
Okay.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm a convert too. I didn't like the South at first, but I've realized it's the best way to go. So anyway, I just thought, I'll screw the South. I'll go for the swing states. I know that if you go through Florida, Wisconsin, Colorado, Arizona, if you get those swing states, you've got plenty of money left over to enter Texas. I knew that was coming, so that was why.
Since you have the swing states with the manufacturing bonus attached, you can get the manufacturing and oil and gas with Colorado and New Mexico. So
Yeah,
you can get a lot of bonuses very quickly.
Correct. The pain though was when you got African American so quickly. I didn't think you would get it that quickly, but you did. So that made things difficult.
Was that the same turn that you got your bonuses, or was it did Tahsin get AA the same turn you got oil and manufacturing?
He got it before.
Oh, before. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got Old South first, then he got swing, and then I got I think AA. Like I prioritized AA over town and gown, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that helps because the town and gown bonus doesn't really get challenged too much. So you can leave it for a little bit later.
It's good for
I also think locked in Arizona and Virginia really early so that I would have a little bit of a head start.
Yeah, and you're looking at Arizona made getting a Latino very hard. I couldn't get Latino because you locked Arizona. So
that was part of the thinking, because I knew that Arizona would help me not only towards AA but also town and gown and Latino. So it's a very good value state.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I tell you, and I came off a crushing loss to Troy Moore in the RHL. And we talked, and like that was the common theme, like Arizona, Virginia, and like I won game 1 and I won both those states. He won game 2 and he won both those states. In game 3, it was like clash. So, yeah, those are. I mean, obviously, you can't just lock them out. If you're watching this, you're a new player. Like the reason why we're talking about those states is because those states are so valuable and so inexpensive, and they have so many bonuses attached to them. So, like Virginia has AA swing states. It has high tech. It has what am I forgetting? There's another one.
Speaking of high tech, the high tech bonus in New York tends to be very marginal, because some of Virginia and Pennsylvania and New Hampshire are tied to swing states, and almost always if you go New York, the other person has swing states. So if they use their bonus to lock those states in, that doesn't leave you too much margin to get that high-tech bonus without California. So getting Virginia locked in early can really help you towards that.
Absolutely, and even if that's not the plan, like that can be the pivot. Because sometimes you gotta go, oh crap, what do I do now? So especially when you're playing like Tahsin or Supun, it's like, they
I think that this is something
thought
that
the same thing I did.
I think this is something that I've had to do against Supun a lot, because he's very good at that strategy of spending enough to get bonuses, but not spending so much that he doesn't have a cash advantage. So now when he has that cash advantage, you know that he can make a threat to make a big steal somewhere. And even if he doesn't go through with it, you have to be careful to make sure that you have an alternative strategy in mind in case he does go for it. So being able to pivot to an, let's say, unusual or different strategy, like I had to do in game 2, when I had to fight with one of the big four, you need to be able to be flexible like that against him.
For sure. So let's talk about game 2. So I'll turn it over to Supun. Obviously your back's up against the wall. Like I know when I lost when I lost game 2 going into game 3, like I didn't sleep at all. Like it's all this pressure we put on ourselves, and it's like a game, and I get it. Like, but you're among your peers, you want to come out and win. And this is like the cream of the crop as far as the competition goes. And I know Tahsin, as the season 1 champion, he's playing with house money. He gets lucky, he gets the stone back as his character. You're playing as Ron DeSantis, who has that big swing state bonus. And I'll just say, like, whenever I see Ron DeSantis, his little profile picture, I see you. Like I just make him a different shade, and there's so I've thought that many a time. So take me into like your thoughts. So game 2, obviously game 1, you were able to get through your path pretty uncontested. Game 2, I think I joined the stream like turn 7 or turn 8, like it had gone live in the lounge. And I look, and like one of you has 1.6 million. I mean, maybe it was a little bit later, but one of you has 1.6 million. There has like 1.2. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's about to get real.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest. It was painful losing game 1 because I should have won that. I probably should have won that game. The big mistake I realized was I had so much oil money at the end of game 1, which I had no use for. I didn't enter. So Tarzan had California in game 1. I did not enter California. I should have. I should have used my oil bonus there. So game 2, I knew that I'm going to go for a similar strategy, but I'm going to save that oil bonus and then attacking California. So that was the big pivot.
And you also got Latino as well
in game 2.
Didn't you?
I don't think so. I tried to get it, but you got it. You just got it in front of me. Yeah, I tried to. But yeah,
no, I never got it because I never actually went to the 3rd pip in California. So I think I prevented you getting it, but I don't think I actually got it.
Yeah, correct. Once I overtook in California, I got it. Yes, but I tried to go for it. I tried to go for it earlier because I spent in New Jersey, but I didn't have enough. I realized you had to go for California to get Latino, so that didn't work. But yeah, so I saved the oil bonus. I then spent a pip in California and to see what you would do, and then I moved up 1 pip, and you did the same thing.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then it was 1-1, and then Supun on the next.
I put one in Florida at that point as well. I had AA money saved up, so I put one in Florida just to make him kind of overspend. So he went. I think he like simultaneously did a big overtake in California, and he used up a lot of his swing state money in Florida.
I think
I think was probably the most dramatic move I've made in any tournament game, which was that instead of trying to go for any of the big states, I just went for all the swing states.
And it almost, you didn't flip the bonus. he defended Florida, but
Just for Colorado. Just because of Colorado.
yeah, and
If I took Colorado, I would have flipped the bonus.
Supun was really smart, so that Colorado ensured that he would keep swing.
Yeah.
It also ensured, was it oil? It was something. There was several things hinging on Colorado, but yeah, I know. And Tahsin, you kind of have done this to me before, where you. I have swing, I have manufacturing, yet you're the one who's got Pennsylvania and North Carolina and all these EVs at the very end. So there is a point in the game where, you know, it doesn't matter who's got the most bonuses. It doesn't matter, you know, how far in each state you are. It's, you know, who's got the electoral votes. And something like Pennsylvania, you know, it's not only 20 EVs, but it's a 40 EV swing. You're taking 20 from Supun, you're putting it in your column. And before a ballot, that is excruciatingly painful for Supun and for people who experienced that, right, Spoon?
Yeah, I mean, I think the third last turn, I tried to steal Pennsylvania from Tahsin, but we clashed. We went to the very end, and that was a big loss to me. I made a big loss.
Oh, yeah.
The turn after, or the ballot round, I could have tried to steal it, but I chose not to because it was just too expensive. The loss was getting to my head. I thought, that's just too expensive. Tahsin sealed it off. Then it was the ballot, and I had all this swing state money which I couldn't use. So I should have gone for Pennsylvania as well. Again, I made a mistake there. So it was the third last. I think it goes to the third last turn. We both clashed. The second last turn, I let him take it. The last turn, the ballot, I've got all this swing state money which I can't use. So
you also had, I think, a lot of manufacturing money as well that didn't have a lot of places to go.
Yeah, I tried to get Indiana and Kentucky, defending both, and you still stole Kentucky off me. So
yeah,
that was annoying.
It's annoying when, especially, you know, when you have to defend both, and like, that's a good strategy, is to just focus on one or the other. And what's crazy is I was playing someone the other day, and not to hijack your story, but they defended all in Kentucky, and they left Indiana alone, which is kind of like the pro move, because it's like, okay, he's going to do that, so I'm going to do this. And what I did was I just went 1 pip in Indiana, and I went like 7 pips in Kentucky. So he looked smart because he blocked my Kentucky, but then I just went 1 in Indiana because that's all I had left. I'm like, I'm probably not going to get Indiana, but I'll try 1. And then he left it alone. I'm like, woohoo! So I talked about this on a stream the other day. Sometimes with Missouri and Minnesota, the town and gown, you kind of do the same thing, or Nevada and New Jersey with Latino. You know, you can't always defend both. But okay, so Supun, I want to ask you about the California move. So the going back a little bit, you know, did you ever consider just going to the 3rd pip? So both Tahsin and Supun were on the 2nd pip, and you have also oil money. Tahsin enters into Florida, so you simultaneously have to defend Florida, but you want to get California. And Tahsin, did you ever think about going to the 3rd pip in California? Kind of, you know, same kind of question. Or was it like, hey, I have to make this bold move? For Supun, it's I have to get California the 55 EVs, and I just have to hope Tahsin attacks me in Florida, and maybe I can get defense. Was that your thought process?
Yeah, for me, I was desperate for California. I thought I needed the Latino bonus, and I needed those 55 electoral college votes. So I just thought I had to go for it. So I spent everything I had. And that was a very expensive move. If Tahsin had moved up to 1 or 2 pip, it would have been a very good move. But because Tahsin spent nothing, I ended up overspending. So I got the bonuses, but it was a very expensive play. So
it was so late in the game.
Yeah. So, you know, I was that desperate for California. And I thought I knew I had a good chance after winning it, but Tahsin then attacked in so many other places.
Yeah, he made a pro move. Tahsin, did you have any other moves, or was that kind of what you just kind of analyzed it? You thought that was the play?
Yeah, pretty much, because I did, as you said, I did actually think about going to the 3rd pip in California just in case he didn't. But I figured that with all the money he's saved up and all the bonuses he has, which attached to California, I thought that there was no way he was gonna not go for it. Florida, again, I knew that he hadn't spent swing state money for a while. And the thing about threatening Florida while also being in the other swing states is that you'd expect your opponent to defend Florida and prioritize that, which meant that I could reasonably expect that all his swing state money would go there and I could overtake him in all the other states. It was late enough in the game that EVs had started to matter more than bonuses, or let's say as much as bonuses. And that's ultimately what let me win that game. But I have to say that I think I did have a better ballot round. There were a lot of states that I won by 1 pip or defended exactly.
And I know Supun was stretched
And
thin on cash, but
it was yeah.
But there were, sorry to cut you off, but there were a couple states where because I was watching, like, I don't know who's gonna win, and it just like Tahsin takes this state. Tahsin, I'm like, when is Supun gonna spend some money, And then we get, I think it was like Connecticut, flipped, and there was no spins. Like that would have been a good like EV cost ratio for 7. Washington, I think, also
I spent all my high tech money in Connecticut.
Okay, Washington. Oh, nice. It says running out of time. We've removed the time limit. Woohoo!
Nice.
But we could still, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Washington was a state that had a pretty good cost ratio that I don't think either of you guys spent. But then
I did.
you did. Okay.
Yeah, Supun did.
Okay. New Jersey. And there was some big states, and it came to the total. And it's like, oh my gosh, what did I just watch? Like 270 or whatever. It was a nail biter. So, but no, go ahead. What were your last thoughts, Supun? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, look, the ballot was painful. Tahsin made really good moves. I left Connecticut alone. I decided to instead seal off Washington. So I think, Tahsin, did you have the export bonus, or did I have it?
You did, because you had 3 of the big 4.
Okay, I think that must be why. I must have spent all of that in Washington. Kentucky, he picked me by 1, I think. And Tahsin overtook me in, I think, Idaho and Hawaii, I think. I was not seeing that coming. I didn't see that coming. So it was just so much I had to defend, and my overtakes didn't quite work. So it was a very good ballot from Tahsin. And again, even in game 1, I was ahead before the ballots, but Tahsin overtook me. So yeah, it's deja vu.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was I was pretty happy with the second game because when I lost California, I was pretty afraid that I was losing it from there, but just about managed it on the ballot. I mean, once any state going the other way would have flipped the game.
For sure. I mean, and that's so tough.
I think that one of the things I realized after this match is that we talk a lot about opening strategies. I think that we haven't analyzed ballot round strategies as much, because I find that there are certain patterns that some players stick to, which I also do. So you tend to go like two up from where someone is, or 3 up, and sometimes it's that people also tend to defend by 3 because they expect you to go 3. So sometimes it's worth going 4, but then when you go 4, you're vulnerable to the other person not defending, and thus you overspend there and you don't have enough to spend elsewhere. So it's a very interesting psychological game.
It is, and I'll say this, like I played Jeff Ray recently, top 5 all time, and he did something I've never seen him do. He did 1 pip in every single state, and that's something maybe a more new player would do, because that's pretty easy to defend, but because it was against me, like that was nowhere on my radar. There are just some of the strategies of saving money is predicting where is your opponent not going to spend money, so I can save money, so I can spend more money than he spends in a spot where he does spend. That was a lot of spending in one sentence, but Yeah, it's a psychological warfare in the ballot round, but also like leading up to the ballot. Like this move you made, Tossin, where you
Mhm.
went for the EV push. If that's blocked, you are pretty hurt. But a lot of people just they bonus. How can I get the 6 bonuses? Because then I'll win. And if you are spending so much money where you have to to get ag or to get export, at the end of the game, that doesn't really help you as much, especially
You don't get those bonuses for many turns.
yeah, those and also, but if you have to spend your money to get those bonuses and then you're not even in Idaho or Hawaii, your ag bonus is not even that good. But yeah, no, it was great to watch, and I mean, you guys are 2 good sports and 2 ambassadors for the game. So I appreciate talking about the RHL. I do want to ask a few questions if you don't mind. I'm gonna make my screen. Let's see. Share my screen here. So can you guys see the Facebook post here? Or the Facebook.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so I dropped a post on the lounge interviewing Tahsin and Supun tomorrow for YouTube. Drop your questions below. So we do have quite a bit of comments here. Brian Hall asks, what interests you in getting involved in the American political game? So, I mean, you guys are obviously both not in America. Do either want to take that question?
Well, I know that in Supun's case, he's always been interested in American politics. I think he could elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, I have since about 2008 have been super interested. I follow even the midterms, the primaries, everything. So obviously this game was very intriguing to me. Just connecting the election side and the game side, it was like perfect for me. So
Yeah.
this game and learning about the bonuses as well was pretty fun. So town and gown, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I still don't know what it is.
So for example, just knowing where the bonuses are attached to certain states, that was interesting to learn. But yeah, I've always been interested. I've been interested in American politics for a long time. So
Yeah.
the game just came together.
I'm gonna ask you guys a random question. So, and you guys you may not have an answer, but kind of put you on the spot. As 2 non-Americans, if right now you were forced to move to the United States and you had to live in a state, what state would you live in?
Vermont.
Vermont. Okay. What about you, Tahsin?
Probably California, because I've got relatives there.
Okay, that's easy. Yeah, no, Vermont. So that's interesting. Why Vermont, Spoon?
It connects with my ideology. So
Bernie Sanders.
yeah, I won't reveal too much, but it aligns with my my beliefs and
cool
partisanship. Yeah.
Awesome. And you want the little guys, the 3 EVs to matter.
Yes. Yeah. All states matter.
Bearski asks, gotta ask how to pronounce Supun, which we did that. Leonage, Supun Leonage, and Robert Hodgkinson. Gotta ask him how to say that. He wants. Have you ever heard of Jeff Suppan?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
He's a baseball player.
Yeah, he used to play for the St. Louis Cardinals, my team. So
Wow, okay.
I still can't say your name, so that's my fault.
It's okay.
Let's see here, James Bandolin. He's wanting to play some 3D chess with you guys. If you don't get swing states, what is your counter action? And you guys have both kind of talked about how you value the Old South. So swing states is obviously a very powerful bonus. And whether you get it or you don't get it, I know I can talk. You can maybe echo what I'm saying. It's not so much what bonuses you get and what they get. It's the states, the flexibility, but also delaying your opponent. So, like, if you can get town and gown on turn 3, and your opponent doesn't get swing states until turn 4 or turn 5, that's a big win. Even though that's a powerful bonus. What Tahsin did in game 1, getting that African American bonus after the Old South really quickly. That's not good if you're a Supun. Snowballing that money into money, because you can, a lot of newer players, they'll protect states, in like Virginia, Arizona, we talked about how important they are, but if you can expand your reach, even if you lose your bonus for a turn, you can just get it right back. So I know James is wanting to get like this perfect answer so he can beat you guys all the time, but that's not really a thing. You got to be in the mind. Every game matters. But how would you say? So is swing your second favorite bonus?
Yeah, I think that if I'm targeting a swing and I can't get it, but the other guy's going into Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, chances are they don't have the money to get that AA bonus. So if that's the case, then I will target the African American bonus.
Gotcha. That's good. That's good. And then there one follow-up question here from James. He asks, what are you going to do if your enemy, your opponent, your enemy got 3 of the big 4? So we can turn to Tahsin on that one because 3 of the big 4. If you were going to choose one of the big 4 to have, what would it be? I'm curious. I mean, every game's different, but if you just have one.
New York every time.
New York.
Same.
Because if you have New York, you can get 5 bonuses without having any of the other big 4. You can have AA, Old South, Town and Gown, High Tech, and if your opponent has gone a little too hard into the big 4 states early on, you can possibly get the Hangman style swing states as well.
Yeah, that'd be a tough game. That's like an Abraham Lincoln type game, where you're going for all those hangman manufacturing, but you have to try to AA. That's tough. Tim Smith says least favorite group. So would that be like an ag or an export, or do you guys have, or maybe it's not the weakest bonus, but you just hate that strategy?
The export bonus, maybe. I never target it. It just comes. I don't go into a game thinking I need the export bonus. It's just you go into states and, oh yeah, I've got it. If you're playing well, you'll get the export bonus. So it's not one I target. So maybe exports.
That's how I used to know if I was playing good or playing well as FDR. Like if I got export as FDR, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. That was like before I knew exactly what was going on. Like I had an idea. Like I knew how to get swing states. Like if I go Florida, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, but I didn't understand the math part of it. I'm like, ooh, I got export. Okay, I'm gonna win this game.
Yeah.
What about you, Tahsin? Do you have a least favorite bonus?
Well, it depends on what my strategy is, but I often find myself really hating the Latino bonus. And if I start in Florida, because one of the things about New York is that extra 50K over Florida really helps in getting Latino and export. So generally you tend to end up with New York and California versus Texas and Florida. And the person with Texas and Florida needs to get practically all the smaller Latino states to actually get the bonus. So on top of that, you also end up being chased down in Florida a lot if your opponent gets swing states, because usually the person with New York also has African American. So combined with Latino, they can really pressure you hard in in Florida.
And that's not fun. That's the opposite of fun, actually.
Yeah, horrible. I've lost so many games by losing Florida.
Yeah, it's painful. And also you just described, and I find that a lot too, with like games against top players like Adam Montgomery and George Fry. I gravitate toward Texas and Florida. Like I just feel more natural that way. I mean, New York and California can definitely work, and especially for just specifically for Latino, like it puts a real emphasis on Illinois. And I find that that's one of my weaknesses, and I've had to really hone in on that, is I over prioritize Latino because that's kind of like the swing bonus, where not the swing states, but like the bonus that hinges who's going to have the most bonuses. But if you are spending like all the way to the 10th pip in Illinois, because you want to get the Latino bonus, and then your opponent doesn't spend anything in Illinois. They're like 1 pip. Now all of a sudden they can pressure you just about everywhere, and you've got to, make some perfect decisions. It's tough because
That happened in game one. In game one, that happened.
Okay,
In game one, I went to the end in Illinois, and Tarzan was only on 1 pip.
Yeah, and that's a huge difference in spending. And
yeah.
Illinois is a great state. It's a cost per value. It's really good. It has 5 bonuses attached to it. It just depends on the type of game. I watched a game. I think it was George in Troy, or maybe it was Troy George versus someone. And anyway, but it was Javier. Who did Javier play? Javier played. He played Utahson.
Me.
Okay, there was a game where Illinois, no one even spent in Illinois. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen before. And then finally, the ballot round, it was 1 and 2. I'm like, wow, what is going on? But the bonuses, that game, Illinois, it really wasn't that important. So you don't want to have, if you're watching this and you're like, man, I got to list these 2 legends and their perfect strategy. Every game is different. But you kind of have to have an understanding of the cause and effect of, if I win this state and I lose this state, how will that affect the bonuses and in turn the cash, and give you an advantage or disadvantage in the game. So for sure, want to get to these last couple questions here. So I appreciate you guys. Are you guys both good on time for a few more minutes?
Yep. We're
Yeah.
good.
Okay, cool. Troy Moore asks, has your extensive knowledge of EVs of each state ever come in handy to impress someone? If you've been talking about the election or the United States, or maybe this recent election that's been going on. And he wants to know, have you guys visited the States before?
I've never visited. I've never been there, but I want to, obviously.
Yeah.
I think you will at some point, I'm sure.
I will. I have to.
For me, I've never been to the States, but I was born there. But my parents moved back to Bangladesh before I was 1 year old, so I don't have any memories.
Yeah, gotcha. So I just made it. I realized I was sharing my screen this entire time, so people couldn't see your pretty faces. So I've got the questions memorized now. So Rick Whitmer wants to know if Tahsin wins season 2 of the RHL, is he the GOAT, the greatest of all time? So
No,
you think
Rick Daniels is the greatest of all time.
Who is?
Rick Daniels.
Rick Daniels. It's still only 7 a.m. here, and that's hilarious. That woke me up. Okay.
Look, I think that Tarzan and George, I think, are the best in the game. Tarzan and George, I think, are the best. Troy is getting super close as well. So, Tarzan is so difficult to defeat. He knows his numbers. He knows how not to overspend. He can read what you're going to do as well. He's just he plays his 4D chess, and he's a pain in the ass to beat. So, and that's a compliment to him. He's a very good player, and obviously a good sport as well. So, is he the GOAT? I think he is. I think Tarzan or George.
I need to redo my Mount Rushmore video. Who was the Mount Rushmore of 270? I had Tyson Norman. I didn't have Eugene Debs. I didn't have. There's a lot of. It's amazing how fast that became outdated.
I know, right?
I was also gonna ask, and I want to give credit to the person here. So I forgot who asked it. But back when you first started playing, who were some of the top names on the leaderboard that are not there anymore? Did you guys have rivalries with some players who aren't there, who don't play anymore?
I played a lot with Tyson Norman. I played a lot with him. I chatted with him on Facebook a little bit. He's from Missouri as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very good player. He used to play as Abraham Lincoln. Very difficult to defeat as well. I don't know why he decided to retire. But
So I talked
that,
to him
yep,
actually, and for those of you who are curious, he just kind of got burnt out with the time of it. Which we do spend a lot of time on this game, but he plays some other games. He actually plays Ticket to Ride. Have you guys heard of that game? The
yes, I
train.
play that. Yeah, yep.
I love that game too. And he plays that as well as Candy Crush and Risk. So the correlation.
Sorry. Back up.
He plays Candy Crush and Risk.
One of those does not belong. Candy Crush and Risk.
Yeah, but no, Tyson Norman. He's from Missouri, so I mean, I was interviewing the top players, trying to learn about the players, and I
You
found
mentioned
that was pretty
he's
cool.
from the
So.
same college as you, right?
Yeah, he went to the same college. Yeah, Mizzou.
Oh wow.
So, which I'm wearing my shirt.
Nice.
Woohoo! So that was actually from Raymond Baroy, who's a multiplayer, specialist, does the saber tactics. Who asked that question? But Rick Whitmer wants to know. He asked about the GOAT, but he also said, who do you consider to be your Achilles heel? Maybe not so much rival, but just the person who has your number the most, of who's handed you the most losses.
Tahsin. Tarzan and George again. But another person may be Dylan Hales. I struggle against him. Yeah, Dylan.
Shout out to Dylan. Dylan made the RHL playoffs this year, and he is a better player than like name recognition goes. Like, oh, D Hales, I got this in the bank. And then, oh crap, I gotta actually buckle down. What about you, Tassin?
So there's a few. I know that at different times throughout the last, because the tournaments kind of really came to life after the quarantines and everything started.
Mm-hmm.
So in that period, I have had a few people who I think I've really struggled against at different times. So Jason was one of them. I remember when I was losing like 6-7 games in a row against him. Mm-hmm. Javier was one of them. Before the RH first season, I faced him in the, I think, semifinals of the first season of the RHL. And before that, I think I had lost something like 4 or 5 games in a row to him. So I just won the game that was the knockout. Everything before that, including the regular season game against him, I lost. There's been Adam Montgomery. He handed me, before the start of RHL season 1, I played a bunch against him, and he handed me a good 4 straight losses, I think. And that was actually, interestingly enough, Adam was not well known at that time. So
you're the one that talked me. You're the one that talked me into drafting him on our team tournament. You're like, because I wanted to take. I found that list there today. I had several names circled, and I'm like, I'm going to take this guy. And one of them, it was hilarious. I got to think of who. I don't want to throw any shade at anybody, but looking at it now, like I was comparing like not apples to apples. It was like this really beautiful apple that's nice and red and juicy in Adam Montgomery, and then whatever I had circled, it wasn't very good.
Yeah, because I remember that Adam at that time, I think he played a lot in the lobby, but he wasn't so well known. But it turned out that he was a top player. And after I told Javier drafted him into the first season of the RHL, and he actually made it. He made it to the final. And yeah, he was a tough opponent. Yeah. Lately, the 2 players that I've been really struggling against, aside from Supun, who, again, like we played a bunch of practice games, I think we were pretty even. And even in the tournament games, it came down to the wire both times. I've been losing to Eric York a lot.
I was going to guess that, yeah. Eric is, Supun was mentioning Troy. I mean, Eric's pretty close to that tier as well. And, we're in the middle of a Survivor game, and I have nothing against Eric. I just, if it came down to a challenge thing, like, maybe we got to get him out because, he might win all the immediate challenges. He is very, very methodical. I mean, everything he does is gives him a statistical edge, whether it's the national groups that he's famous for or just really, pressuring and making some pretty big steals. I also I was kicking myself when I lost to Eric in the RHL, and it's not a personal shade at Eric. I was just like, man, I really needed to win this so I can get a bye. And, that was like the one match where maybe I had counted my chickens before they hatched. And, looking back, I'm like, man, I was like a top player. You look at my losses. I lost to Troy. I lost to Adam. I lost to Eric. And I lost to George. Those were my only losses. And those are 4 really good players. So nothing to be ashamed of.
I've lost to Eric as well in the Team Republican v Team Democrat tournament run by Daniel Smith. Mm-hmm. I think we had to play best of 3 or something. And he beat me both times. So wow. That's another person I could add too. Yeah, Eric York as well.
So shout out to Eric. I do want to say, Tahsin mentioned the practice matches. That's really cool that as rivals, you can have hey, let's have a practice match. So definitely cool. And if you're watching this, maybe you got someone in the back of your mind, like, oh, I don't like that guy, try to bury the hatchet or whatever. Because, this is that we're growing. We're up to almost 10,000 people in the lounge, which is really cool. We got different people from all walks of life, people who think differently, act differently. But, don't make the moderators do their jobs. So I had a question. So if you had to spend your quarantine, like let's say you're in quarantine for 14 days, if you had to spend quarantine stuck in a house with someone in the lounge, who would it be?
Well, let's see. I know Brendan pretty well. You're a pretty chill guy. So you're a good choice. I think it does sound like I'm just saying the names of the people in this interview, but yeah, Supun is someone who I share interests with. We're both really into Formula One. Cool. We come from similar geographic region, so we have some commonalities there. So yeah.
So. I'm a pretty much go to McDonald's kind of guy all the time. So, What about you, Supun?
Probably maybe like Javier. Chat quite a bit with him. So Javier, Suraj, Jason. Also Jeff Ray. Oh. Jeff Ray chat quite a bit with. He's been playing a long time as well. Mm-hmm. We're near each other in the rankings as well. So we see eye to eye on a lot of things. So, and the other person is for some reason my mind has just gone blank. But the person who runs the Survivor tournaments, not Renee, the other one, the social tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Not Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce. Yeah, Bryce Hawkins. Bryce Hawkins, of course.
He's also in Missouri.
Yeah, that's right. Springfield.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, Bryce Hawkins.
Awesome.
I don't know why I forgot his name.
Yeah, no, he's a good guy. He's pretty funny. If you don't know him and you chat with him, he can be sarcastic a little bit. So different people communicate differently, but good dude. I like those answers. I was going to ask you one more question, and we kind of talked about it just at the beginning, but just to wrap it all up. What are some of the struggles or some of maybe like a unique story about coordinating 270, whether it's a tournament or something like this, being on a different time zone? Do you guys have any, we tried to do this a couple of days ago and I overslept, is there something that sticks out of, or maybe it's like 3 a.m. and someone's like, what are you doing up? I'm playing my game.
Yeah, because I got that pretty recently. I was up like really early, like 3-4 a.m. and I just decided to play a game on my phone from my bed. I posted a screenshot of the game. I can't remember who I played. I think it was. I can find out from my phone later. Yeah. But I posted a screenshot, and someone like looks at the time in the screenshot and goes like, what the hell are you weren't kidding about staying about being an early riser.
That's funny. Yeah, no, yeah, because I do toss-in time. It's 1 hour past mine, but then switch the AM and the PM. So it's you know, I haven't figured out how to do the Supun time.
Past yours now. There's a
So we got a little bit of a lag. That's okay. Can you hear me, Supun?
Yeah. All
Okay.
good.
What do you have a story like that where you know, just the time difference or the it just was worth sharing?
Look, it's very, very hard to schedule games for me because when it's your evening, I'm at work. So in Australia and the US are miles away on time zone. So when it's daytime here, it's evening over there. So I'm at work usually when it's your evening. When it's late at night, you guys are just waking up, like right now. So it's very, very hard. So Friday evening and Saturday evening your time, I can play games, but otherwise it's not. So I've had to like postpone lots of multiplayer matches, which you can imagine is very annoying for other players, all having to wait for me. Tournament matches, it always has to be postponed to Friday or Saturday. And commentating as well. I get asked, can you stream this match? Can you stream this match? Or can you watch this match? I'm like, no, I'm at work. I can't. So yeah, it's very, very, very hard to schedule and play games in this time zone.
Yeah,
for sure.
So keep that in mind next time that you're wanting Supun to be in your tournament. That when you post your registration, you might ask him ahead of time and say, "Hey, I can save you a spot," because I know I did that one time, and you know, you got to play. But if I hadn't,
you did that for me as well.
Yeah. So yeah, the same thing. It filled up within like an hour, and you know, you guys were asleep.
Yeah.
So all good. Well, it is about 7.
One of the things actually, so about Supun's time zone is that because Australia and Malaysia, which is where I'm right now, for I think Supun's only 3 hours away from me, time zone wise.
Yeah.
Is it 3 or 2 hours?
I think it's 3.
So yeah, so because of that, it's often the case that if I'm playing in the afternoon or in the evening, Supun's free at that time. So we end up playing each other quite a lot in that, when it's our afternoon or evening. So it's one of the reasons why I've played a lot against him.
Yeah. Who's available? I'm available. Well, I'll tell you, like in a random, it has nothing to do with anything we talked about, but I've always wanted to go to New Zealand. That's kind of like my bucket list place, and that's pretty close to Australia, I think.
Yes. 2-hour flight. Yeah.
Okay, 2-hour flight. So that, I think, isn't that the first hour of the day is in New Zealand, and then it works that way? Okay.
Yes, correct. New Zealand, Australia, then Malaysia, where Tahsin is, then India, then the Middle East, then Europe, then America.
And then we're like last, yeah.
Yes.
So you guys will be done with 2020 before we will. He'll be on the 2021, and hopefully out of this pandemic, and we can start, being normal again. But do either of you guys have any questions for me or any last things? I've got about 40 minutes before I have to be at work, and I need to get in the shower.
Do you plan on doing any more draft tournaments?
Do I plan on any more draft tournaments? That's interesting. I have learned a lot from watching some of the talented people in the lounge. I can come up with good ideas, but like my following through like the structure, like I could be better at that. I would be interested in doing another draft tournament, maybe having like a organizer, just so it's like it runs smooth, and that way, like if I participate, it doesn't, like I know, even though that happens a lot where the person who's in charge, they participates. Like it's kind of time consuming to message people, get their games, have it all structured, build graphics, stream the matches, which I know back in the day, not every match was streamed, and today the same way, but like a lot more and more and more matches are streamed. So, and people want their matches streamed. And if you got, Tahsin versus Supun, you want to have that match streamed, but then it slows everything down. In the last tournament I ran, it drug out for over a month and a half, and that's great, but you want to do those, but the actual draft part, that was a blast.
Yeah, it's really fun. I find the
Yeah, I
auction the
remember
most
that.
fun part.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And so I definitely, I probably won't do that as my next tournament. So I am going to be hosting a tournament. My YouTube channel just hit 270 subscribers. Woo-hoo. Moved up in the world, one subscriber at a time.
Who was number 270?
I don't know. So 269 was Patrick Ghost or Gaz. And some people have their YouTube settings as private. So I don't think
Okay.
I don't think it told me, but I went from 269 to I woke up I had 274. So there were quite a few people, but yeah, but no, I appreciate the feedback, Supun. I'll definitely try to do something like that. And maybe we can talk and have like a unique twist or some sort of concept. What about
Exactly,
you?
and I love how it gets us to know the other players as
Yeah,
well. That's what I love about it.
for sure. And I tell you what, I'm in this college basketball tournament right now that's being hosted by Trevor Albert and Dennis Muxlow. And right now, Eric York is ranked #1, and I'm ranked #2. And you've got Troy Moore, Javier, some big names, but then there's also some up-and-coming players. Nicholas Sloan. Have you guys ever heard of Nicholas Sloan?
Yeah, he's from Kentucky. Yeah.
Do you know Nicholas Sloan, Tossin?
Yeah.
He beat both
Yeah,
me.
I've seen his name around.
He
I think
beat
I've played
both me and Jason Casey this week.
Wow.
So,
Oh, wow.
and like, not that's not, and anyone can be anyone in any given game. He won. He basically, he hit a perfect ballot against me, but that's okay. But kudos to him. But like these players don't get that opportunity a lot to take on. You kind of have to earn your stripes a little bit. And so the RHL Congress, that's a great way to get promoted to the RHL White House. I know next year we're going to have some new faces. Joshua Fisher. We're going to have David Robison, who's really good. And I think I talked Fred Banks into joining the RHL Congress.
Andrew, Yang.
Gang, there you go. So so you get to know some people from playing them, but it's also cool to know like Supun was saying, he's from Kentucky. Put a face with a name and fun fact with the guys. So I'll definitely try to do another draft tournament. Do you have any closing thoughts, Tossin?
Nothing in particular. It's been it's been fun talking to you.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Looking forward to seeing how Game 2 pans out for Troy and George.
Yes.
Which they've said they have tentatively scheduled for Thursday.
So Friday.
After that,
Friday for you
hopefully
guys.
I'll know who I'm facing in the final.
Yeah, that's true. So so Tossin will be taking on the winner of Troy Moore versus George Fry, who we talked about all three of those players. That was a back and forth match in game #1. I actually thought George did a great job getting to a more comfortable spot where he had the map, and that high tech flip by Troy was pretty. I mean, he had a $400,000 cash, so maybe he can do it pretty comfortably. But to me, if that move fails, I think George wins that game pretty comfortably. I don't know if you guys saw the match or not, but anytime you're going up against either DeSantis or in Troy's case, Tim Ryan, that big swing state bonus. George, he plays out of the swing states quite a bit, but I don't think that's maybe his go-to. And it was a grueling, 6 or 7 turn swing state battle that Troy just barely got, and that really can snowball into a big win. So who are your official picks for game 2? Start with Supun.
I am tipping. I think George. He learns from his mistakes, so I'd say George.
Tossin?
I'm trying to think back. During the previous round, during the quarterfinals, who did George play again? It was Adam, right?
George played Adam, and that went 3 games. It went Adam.
Yeah, and George won game and 3.
It went Adam, George, George.
Yeah. So based on that, I'm gonna say George gets a good game 2.
Yep. So then okay, so let's say there is an all decisive game 3. Who do you guys taking in game 3? Assuming it's 1-1.
I'm taking Troy in game 3.
Taking Troy in game 3. What about you, Tossin?
It's too close to call, I think, but I'm definitely sticking with George for game 2. Game 3, I think, is open season.
Open season. There you go. Well, I say I try to make those Storm and Mormon previews. Last time when Adam beat George, it said death, taxes, and George Fry after a loss. So you got to take George when you stand up back up against the wall.
I think George actually wanted to play game 2 today, didn't he?
Oh, he's competitive. I mean, he was chomp at the bit. I remember recently he lost, and same thing. He was one. Hey, let's play. And anyway, that he actually got the. Did you guys see the match him versus Artyom Abramov? So that's on YouTube too. So they both, Artem's got 100-0 before in the tournament, and George is always really high up there, and they've never played each other. And in the lounge, the tournament lounge is as many times as people have played, it's crazy how we don't run into each other more. I always run into Yang Gang, I run into Bart, and I run into Nathan Williams before I get like this connection error. It times out. But I've never played Artem myself, but I wanted to have those two guys play, and I streamed that to the lounge. So they both were featured in the rival video too. So awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, and hopefully new players get a chance to meet you. Veteran people get a chance to ask some more comments in the comment section of the video. And I can't wait to see you guys play again. And Tahsin, good luck in the RHL finals.
Thank you. Supun, I'm going to have to ask you to help me get a few practice games in if your subscription's still running. Just gonna have to see who's going into the finals.
Of course. You are my biggest rival in this game, but there's a good amount of respect between us. So, of course, Tahsin, of course.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
And Brendan, thank you so much for what you do in the lounge and your YouTube videos. You're, an extremely good value to the community. So, thank you so much.
You're welcome, and you guys are welcome back anytime. So,
thank you.
Well, with that, I'll sign off, and thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next 270 video.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.